I believe that the fires we're cast upon on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the
Larry Pollock, Luke Carroll, coming to you from Underground Performance Gym Podcast. We have special guests today.
Autin Karr
Autin
and
Karr.
Leo Mayerhofer.
I just blanked out. Anyways, we got a bunch of things to talk about today, but we're going to start off with a Patrick Moore story since this just came out. And basically, Patrick Moore, it's filmed. It got in a fight with a gym owner out in front of the gym. And are you able to show that?
I'll clip it in after. We're not going to watch it on here, but I'll clip to the video.
Okay. So he got in a fight with a gym owner, and it looked like the gym owner was confronting Patrick, and they got in a little boxing match. And at the end of the boxing match, Patrick basically knocked the guy down and started ground and pounding him. And then the guy's buddy, who was standing by, not doing anything, basically hit Patrick like one time and pulled him off of him and stopped the fight.
I think it goes a little further. I think Patrick ended up knocking the guy out after that. They got up and started scrapping again. And
that's all we could see in the video. I don't know what happened later.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Anyways, there's a backstory on this. According to the gym owner, Patrick works as a trainer at that gym, and he was paying $300 a month rent to train clients there, which that's pretty damn cheap, I think. But he hadn't paid his rent in 3 months, so he owed $900. And that's what the whole thing was over. And Patrick went on his IG, and he said, well, the gym owner is charging membership fees to his training clients plus charging him rent. So Patrick says he's double dipping.
That's pretty normal.
Well, Patrick's wrong because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, you got to have a membership.
You have to have a membership to go to the gym, and yeah, the trainer still has to pay rent, and $300 is nothing. Like that's a joke.
I pay Gold Sim $1,000.
Yeah,
everyone still has to pay their membership.
$250 a week.
That's cheap. That's still cheap, because think a normal training situation, if the trainer's making 50%, and if they have a good amount of clients, they could be bringing in several $1,000s a month. And if this guy's only paying $300, he's pocketing all that money. So
yeah,
why he wouldn't pay his $300?
I heard a little more on it. I guess he had 3 months of unpaid, and then they shut off his access to the gym. And then that's when this fight kind of like escalated. Patrick was starting a commotion at the gym. Gym owner showed up, and then apparently they just met in the parking lot and decided to handle it like that. So I think they should have just squashed it at that, like, hey, let's box it out, let's get our aggressions out and just drop it. I mean, that's the old school way. I mean, Larry's got stories of people fighting in the gym parking lots. You hear that all the time at like, what's that gym in Fort Worth?
Metroflex.
Metroflex. Yeah, you heard all the time that it was just like cops and even criminals are just like fighting in the parking lot, and then they just go to the gym the next day or spotting each other. So, I think just this social media, he said, she said, is it's entertaining, but I think that just move on with it.
Yeah, they handled it the right way, but regardless of how they handled it at the end, Patrick Moore is a douchebag. That's all I can say.
And
who started the fight, though?
The gym owner kind of.
Yeah, it looked like I think they were calling each other out. I don't know, maybe whatever. The fight starts, the gym owner is in the parking lot yelling at Pat. Pat's kind of standing by like a parking spot, and then he goes over. It's actually a really good like shot of the whole fight. Like the cameras of the gym caught the whole thing. Yeah, Pat goes over, and then they both just kind of like square up. I think the gym owner threw the first punch. Pat, throws hands and did pretty good in fighting. The guy got in. Pat's definitely got a headache, so he's gonna have probably some scrapes and black eyes. He tore his Olympia jacket. He was wearing his Olympia jacket from a few years ago. He tore his jacket. So
yeah, the gym owner got knocked down, but he's a scrapper because he
got back up and kept going. He didn't just give up.
Yeah, he was.
You guys didn't know Patrick is a professional boxer before he did bodybuilding.
Right. Is he professional? I heard he was like, it's been like 15 years, 13 years since he boxed, but I didn't know if he was like professional or if it was just semi-pro or like.
I think he was Golden Gloves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was legit.
What is Golden Gloves? Does that mean you fight for money or professional?
I think like it's a top amateur thing.
Okay.
To get Golden Gloves. It's almost like the Olympics.
Well, let's kind of like spiral this into like other stuff. Have you guys ever? I've seen a few fights in the gym. At what was it? What was the name of the gym? It was one of those like men's physique gyms out in East LA.
Cali?
No, it was the one Ryan Benson. It's his. It's a 0G. 0G. This is probably like 2017. I saw Giordani and some other. Who was it? Someone else. Anyway, they just scrapped in the gym, squashed it right there. I think we ended up just working out together even after they finished fighting.
When I was, I think I was 16 years old, 15 or 16, maybe 16. I got into it with a guy named Peter Liu. He was a bodybuilder in the gym, older guy. And I know he called me out, and me and him went in the parking lot, and we scrapped it out. Yeah, and the whole gym came out and watched, and finally turned into a wrestling match, and they pulled us apart after we were wrestling around for probably 5 minutes. He got the better of me, but I held my own, and I was 16 years old, and he was like 35. And I remember the next day he was back in the gym running his mouth again like he always did. And these two big black guys said, "Hey, shut up, dude. You let a child whoop you."
Can you imagine just going in there and doing like a nasty arms and shoulders workout, and then someone calls you out and you're just like flailing, trying to swing with arm pump, or even worse, a leg workout where you're just kind of like walking stiff legged and you're like trying to catch someone.
But yeah,
I couldn't imagine fighting Branch Warren at Metroflex. I wouldn't even fucking look at him.
Oh Jesus!
I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
He literally would throw the barbells and just fucking. If you were standing there,
yeah.
like he didn't give a shit if you were right there.
Have you guys ever seen any fights in the gyms that you guys have been at or around any kind of altercations like that?
Vegas is all talk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
People might they grandstand, but they don't actually.
Roger Collard
like,
called out some dude at World Gym. This is back in the 80s. And they went in the parking lot and duked it out. I don't remember who it was. But
I think last year there were like two guys at Gold's Gym that were fighting in the first room, but I didn't really get to see it.
The thing usually about street fights is they don't go as long as this one did. This one probably went for like close to a minute. Usually it's just like 1-2 punch shove and then kind of give it up. But this one was like, they were actually like going rounds, come back together, pull, grab each other's hands, hit each other in the head, throw to the ground.
They're both boxing.
Yeah, they were both like going.
That reminds me of that guy, the men's physique pro. He's from New York. He's really loud. He was top 5. He has like 12.
Ferguson.
Andre Ferguson. Remember he knocked the dude out in front of the gym like 4 years ago.
I don't know.
I just know that Nathan DiAsha fought people.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't he like tear his bicep or something fighting? I forget how he
might have.
I'll see if I can.
I think it was over COVID restrictions or so.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find. I'll see if I can find that Andre Ferguson fight, and I'll drop it in right here. And then maybe I don't know if there's any video of Nathan, but maybe I'll try to drop a couple fight scenes in on this YouTube.
I don't know.
I just remember Mike Van Wyck punching Jeff Nippert.
That wasn't even a punch. He shoved him by the neck.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I think they made too much out of that.
Yeah, it kind of went away. I mean, I haven't heard anything about it since we talked about it. The news cycle goes so fast.
Is he training at that gym still? The clients?
No,
I haven't heard anything.
He got kicked out of the gym.
Yeah, I think he did.
But
that's crazy.
Victor Martinez knocked out Chris Cormier at FIBO.
Yeah,
Chris Cormier.
Yeah, Chris Cormier was notorious for he would just start shit with people, and I don't know what they were beefing about, but Victor was sitting in a chair, and Cormier came up and started talking shit to him. basically threatening him, and Victor just came out of that chair and hit him one time and knocked him out cold at the expo.
I love it.
So obviously Victor's not someone to mess with.
Yeah.
I think people don't fight anymore because of the tripods. There's too much cameras. Like you're scared to get arrested.
Yeah. I mean,
They also don't have balls.
Yeah, that's the real thing. They don't have that.
there is a lot more repercussions now. You know, back in Larry's day, if you fought, it was kind of just like ended right there. Now people are jumping on social media, talking crap, calling the cops, you know, saying stuff they shouldn't. Like, you know, they're just kind of doing, you know, getting people in more trouble instead of just saying, all right, we had a disagreement, we handled it like men, now we move on.
I would never fight at Gold's Gym unless it was like so obvious that I'm defending myself.
Gold's Gym is so liberal, you'd get like annihilated there.
No, there's some guys in there that like think they're really badass.
Yeah.
Pretty like oftentimes. I think there could be, especially in the afternoon when I'm mostly not there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like if it's your workplace, like this Mike Van Wyck, that's so dumb. Like I would have like honestly, someone probably like hit myself and I probably wouldn't do anything. Unless it's like so clear that I'm defending myself and I have to defend myself.
Yeah.
Like anywhere else, okay, but like
I mean,
not where I work. I'm not destroying my life over that.
I would just take it outside the back. Just tell them, let's go in the back parking lot.
I've been in a few fights in my life, but I've never been the aggressor. Like I'm always just, you know, I was a bouncer for a few years and people would, you know, come up, start trying to fight or whatever. And then, you know, you'd have to like kind of handle that. But I've never like aggressively tried to grab somebody. I was at a party and the group I was with started fighting this dude. And I was just watching. I was like, you guys need some more mushrooms or something. You guys are way too aggressive.
You've never been in a prep on a low deficit and had Anadrol or Superdrol and you're just somebody fucking taking the machine and you're like, hurry the fuck up. Like get off the machine.
Oh yeah. I've definitely had those dramatic meltdowns when you're way too deep in prep and you're carb cycling and you're on trend and stuff like that. I've definitely had like my moments, but I've never like thought about physically hurting someone.
I had two incidents in the gym that I could think of, actually three. One, this was like just maybe 3 years ago. I took out a homeless guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
This homeless guy kept coming in. He kept breaking into the gym. He was like climbing through windows and whatever where we were located. Oh. And I kept kicking him out of the gym. And one day we were moving equipment in, and the back door was open, and I'm standing behind the front counter, and I look across. There he is, just standing in front of the dumbbell rack, and I'm just like, what? I just like went straight over to him and just started hitting him. And he ran into, we have this thing called the vault. It was like an old, this was an old bank building. So this one room, training room was like an old vault. And he ran into the vault. So that was dumb because like he just cornered himself in there. So I just went in there and I touched him up a bit. And then he ran out. He's like, don't hit me. And he kept running away from me. And I wasn't trying to like hurt him. I just wanted to scare him mostly.
This guy was a continuous problem. He broke into the shower once and he was like,
all kinds of shit.
He was just kept on, you know, he just thought the gym was his like own property or somehow like thought he could come in and do whatever.
He came in one night and he stole like my girlfriend's backpack full of her gym equipment. It was all on camera.
So at Larry's gym, he has a magnetic door. So it locks and you can't just push it to unlock it. You have to push the button and then go out. So the guy's trying to run away from Larry and he doesn't know about it. He's kicking the door trying to get out.
And he broke my door.
He broke the door because he was panicking so bad.
But I was training a guy. This is like years ago, probably 15 years ago. I was at Gold's Gym in Thousand Oaks. I'm training my client, who's this like 40-year-old businessman, and he's doing squats. And he's in the middle of a set of squats. And another older guy comes up right in the middle of his set, and he's like, "You're doing it wrong." And my client, Mark, he's just kind of like a quiet guy. He's just like, Like, what? And the guy's like, you're doing it wrong. And he starts yelling at him. And I'm on the other side of the squat rack. And I'm like, hey, dude, that's my training client. He's not doing anything wrong. What's your problem? And he looks at me and goes, oh, you're just a big muscle head. You're not going to do anything. I just jumped up right around that squat rack, got right in his face. I'm like, really? You think I won't? And then he about shit on himself.
Yeah. This is like liberal vills. So there's a lot of people that are kind of entitled thinking that, you know.
But it was so weird. Like, he's just like doing a set of squats and the guy starts yelling at him in the middle of the set. He's like, like, what are you doing? You're not involved in this.
I think I'm like Leo. If I'm in a set and I'm at the gym and I want to get out of there, I want to get my workout. I don't want to fucking deal with fighting somebody. Then I got to go back, try to channel my anger back into the set. I just leave me the fuck alone. Like,
yeah.
I have friends that would just fight.
When I'm in prep and I have this aggression that you talked about, for me, it's always towards the people in the gym that are zero productive and train like total idiots. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing here? It's not doing shit what you're doing. You can go home. Like, what the fuck?
You're just being like, judgmental on their workout.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm like, you idiot. Like, and then I start thinking like, you've been here for years. Why don't you like? And nothing changes. Why don't you think about like changing a little bit, like maybe the way you lift or like anything? Like, you're so ignorant. Like, I just get pissed like off by total ignorance. That's just like, when I'm happy off season, I'm like, ah, what an idiot. But okay, you know. But when I'm on prep, I'm like, you. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, your pet peeves. People's ignorance. Your pet peeves definitely take over when you're on low calories, low carbs, and high androgens.
Well, at my gym right now, like for the most part, people are really respectful because that's the way we keep it, and like everybody puts their weights away. And what pisses me off is I come in and like someone will load up a leg press and will just leave. And I'll literally look on the camera to see who did it, and I'll call them up and like, you have 1 hour to come down here and unload this leg press, or I'm fining you $200.
I wanted to throw hands last night. Some dude was wearing like 4 gallons of cologne while I was trying to do legs, and I was so like I just felt like irritable. I'm not even on any gear at all, and I was just like this just like overwhelming cloud wherever. And he was training legs too with his girlfriend, and I was just like, is it bad if I just tell somebody like, hey, don't wear cologne to the gym anymore? That's offensive.
One reason, like at my gym, people are respectful and people put their weights away, and because if I'm in there and I see somebody being an asshole, I'll just check them real hard right there. I'm like, hey, put your weights away, or they're.
Larry threw out this fucking weirdo goth guy because he was like making faces. He's making faces at me and Benito. Benito's like our power lifter. He can squat like 900. And he was having like imaginary conversations where he's doing stuff. And Larry's like, stop doing that. What the fuck? And so Larry kicked him out.
Yeah, the guy was, he was, what do you call that? It was a mental case.
Yeah, he was
he was doing like in the middle of the gym doing like jujitsu shit. Like, where people are lifting weights. He's like doing all this weird shit.
Yeah, he would like shadow box and stuff and around. But he would like imagine that he was shadow boxing me. And then my training partner, because he was just like doing weird shit, I would kind of like glance over like, freaking weirdo. And then my training partner was like, he's like talking to you. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, he's imagining fighting you.
Yeah, he was like wanting to pick on the biggest dudes in the gym. Like Benito's 400 pounds. He squats 900 pounds, and his brothers, like, they're big Samoan dudes, and his brothers are like huge like him as well. And the guy's like wanting to start a fight with all of them. He's talking about he's going to take them all out. And the guy weighs like $150 maybe.
Yeah, he's kind of tall, but he was pretty skinny.
So I just pulled him in. I'm like, hey, dude, what's your problem? And he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you can't do this shit here. He didn't say anything to me. So I was just like, you just can't do this.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, is the NPC, the IFBB, like, do they care about this incident of Patrick Moore beating that guy?
I was wondering that too.
Follow?
Because Patrick is.
Or are they just like, yeah.
Patrick is 6 weeks out, so I was wondering as well if they might, this might like show a bad shine a bad light on the IFBB, if it might, interact with his Arnold invitation or something like that. I
don't think it really has anything to do with them.
Probably not.
It's not their business, but he just made himself look bad.
I definitely think there's like a code of conduct in your invitation contract where you have to, like, if they somehow think that you're doing something wrong, they can tell you. They can tell you you're not. But I don't think they'll do anything about this.
They're not going to get involved in this, because then they get involved in this, and then he could file a lawsuit, and then it just turns into like problems for them.
Well, I mean, your athlete contract is a full contract, so I think that they probably have the power to legally do it. That's what the contract you're signing, so they have like a no.
I could see if he did it at the show.
Oh, if he did it at the show, you'd probably never come to Arnold again.
Sure,
but I mean, like, this is at a gym it's not involving them, so I don't really think it's their business to get involved.
Yeah, probably not.
I think the only time that go ahead. The only time that they're going to give you hectic or you're going to have problems is if you get charged for a felony and that goes on your charges. Not even if you're convicted, but if you're charged for a felony, they can hold your IFBB Pro status until that court case is done.
Look what they did to Shaun Roden.
Yeah, that's what they did to Shaun.
They wouldn't let him compete. He was a reigning Mr. Olympia, and they wouldn't let him compete the following year because he had those charges pending. And personally, I think that's bullshit. Because like, he hadn't been convicted of anything. Mm-hmm. So now you can't compete and make a living, and you're Mr. Olympia. I can understand if he was convicted and whatever, but he was just accused.
Sucks. Yeah.
This is something I wasn't going to talk about, but since we're on this subject, I'll mention it without mentioning any names. I just had a training client contact me we've been going back and forth online for a few months, and he wanted to come see me, and in person. So he flew out to LA, and he came in on a Friday, and we were supposed to meet on Sunday afternoon. And Friday night, he went to a bar with his friend at somewhere like Redondo Beach. And he met some chick there at the bar. And according to his friend, he said they seemed to be hitting it off. He took the chick back to his hotel room. And turns out, like, I don't know what she was, like, on drugs or whatever, but they got in an altercation, and according to him, she punched him in the mouth and then tried to steal his phone and his wallet and everything. And he went and called the police. The police got there, and she was saying whatever she was saying, and he got charged with false imprisonment and sexual battery, and he was put in the jail. And he called me from jail on Saturday. Yes, it was Saturday. And he's like, I'm in the jail, and he said that nobody else is I'm the only one that took his call, because it's like a collect call thing. And so he's in the jail on a Saturday, and he's got these charges, and turns out Monday was Martin Luther King Day, so the courts are closed, so he's going to have to stay in jail till Tuesday to go to arraignment. Meanwhile, I talked to a couple bondsmen, and they couldn't bond him out because he had no bail set. And anyways, I'm like, this could be a big problem for him. So I contacted an attorney that I've known from back in the day, who's like one of the biggest criminal attorneys in all of LA. And I contacted him and put him in touch with him and his friend. Anyways, long story short, the attorney made a few phone calls. His first attorney went and met with him on Sunday. He made some phone calls, and he was out, didn't even go to court. He got him out, like, with no...
They dropped the charge?
Yeah, apparently there's something about, like, they could refile it with up to a year. Mm-hmm. But for now, like, everything was dismissed, and he wanted charges brought against this woman for, like, hitting him and trying to steal his stuff. Apparently it was on camera too, from somewhere.
Oh, it's on camera. I was gonna say it sounds like just he said, she said, but if it's on camera, then there's...
Yeah, it was on camera.
That could be problematic for somebody.
But anyways, I didn't hear from him the next day, and this was like a Tuesday afternoon. I was like wondering what happened, so I texted his friend, and his friend said, "Oh yeah, the attorney handled everything," and he sent me his phone number. I didn't have the guy's phone number because he had called me collect from the jail. But anyways, I called him, and he's like, "The attorney gave you my number?" I'm like, "No, your friend gave me the number." And he's like, "Man, that attorney charged me $25,000 just to make a phone call, man, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Dude, you don't even know. You just dodged a bullet. You could have been.
You could have stayed in
You
LA.
could have stayed in LA. You would have gone to arraignment. They would have read those charges, set a big, huge bond on you, maybe $200,000 or $300,000 bond, and you'd be stuck in the county jail fighting that case. And then you'd have to get a different lawyer who would have probably been shit, and you'd been paying that lawyer money, and you'd still be stuck in the county jail fighting that case. So that phone call was like worth whatever, because you're out. You're out. You're already on a plane back to where you came from.
Yeah. I mean, 25 grand is a lot of money, but still.
Like, this woman should be like, she should never get away with this shit. Like, let's say he's right, which I believe from what you say. Like, they need to go after this woman. Like, they can't get away with this shit.
That's what he was saying. He was so upset because he said she attacked me and I didn't do anything. And the cop said, "Well, she said this, we have to take you in." So
I'm just straight up believe her.
that's the way it works. If you're a dude, first of all, if you're a dude and you're a bodybuilder, that's even worse. They just look at you and you're like, "Oh, you're guilty." Yeah, the female can say anything and they're going to arrest you. And then they're going to try to figure it out later. So
good thing I have my wife in work. I don't have to do this shit.
Especially if you have criminal charges on your record too, you're double fucked.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed completely. But even if you don't, she says that you did it. I know a guy right now who's in jail and I don't know if he did it or not. He was kind of a hothead bodybuilder kid that used to go to my gym. I say used to because he's been in the Ventura County Jail now for 2 years fighting a case. And it's just something between him and an ex-girlfriend. She said that he came over and was trying to do something to her. And anyways, he's still in there.
Yeah.
So
what would you do? You would, like, if you were the IFBB, you would just disregard it, Patrick Moore, whatever, go compete.
I don't think it's any of their business.
Okay. But do you think it would be the same if Derek Lunsford would have had the same problem? Or do you think there's like two tiers of pros because they have different levels of popularity?
I definitely think there's a code of conduct that you kind of have to meet if you're going to be in the spotlight winning shows and stuff. And I'm almost sure that the IFBB, that the Manions and stuff are having a conversation about Patrick right now and deciding what they're going to do. Like they might, I think they'll probably do nothing, but I'm sure they're having a conversation about it.
And they're probably going to reach out to him and be like,
"What happened?
One more thing." And whatever.
Yeah. Maybe they'll kind of give him a strike and say, "Hey, like you need to be on best behavior the rest of your time in the IFBB."
The problem they have though, is if they do anything to him, all they have is that, even though the gym owner's story sounds plausible and obviously the fight's on video, but it's like, it's the gym owner's word against his word. And if they penalize him for that, he can turn around and sue them. He can sue the IFBB if they penalize him because.
No, I mean, I think there's a code of conduct. I think that if you are doing too much, I mean, this technically, I think that it looks like it's just mutual. What's it called? Mutual contact, mutual combat. Yeah, it looks like it's that. But I mean, if this kind of just becomes like a repetitive thing where someone's doing that, I think they can have a meeting and say, "Hey, like you're out." I think it's like they're a private business and it's just like a code of conduct as a professional athlete. I mean, think of if you were I mean, on a football team
Well,
or
just
something.
remember Jay Cutler when he failed the diuretic test. He sued them.
Yeah.
And they did away with the diuretic testing after that because they lost.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little different, but I think they probably have the ability if somebody is, you know, I'm not sure because I don't think I ever did. You ever sign a contract to get your pro card, Austin? I don't think you just signed a contract to do a show. I'm sure there's a code of conduct in that, but like to win your pro card, you just go compete and win it.
We just get a card. Remember, we just paid it, and then we get our card in the mail.
Yeah.
That was it. There's no contract that we get.
Maybe you click something. I don't know. You have to check something off.
Yeah, maybe when you're an NPC athlete to get your NPC card you like have to sign stuff. Don't you have to sign stuff, Austin, at shows like I'm sure there's contracts and stuff. I'm
liability, but it doesn't have in there like offs. You know, if you're out and about and you get in a fight post show and you knock somebody out, that's just more at the show.
I tend to think that's more just if you're not doing anything affiliated with the IFBB, then they'll probably just ignore it. But I mean, look at Sean Roden, same exact thing. He got charged with something, and then they told him, "Hey, this is bad. This is a bad look for the IFBB. You can't even." They didn't even let him come to the Olympia, not much less compete.
That's kind of like what Leo said with Derek Lunsford.
Yeah,
you're Mr. Olympia. You're held to a higher standard.
Yeah,
and you're representing the whole entire league now as a role model. Yeah. And if you were getting in a fight in the parking lot, is it worth it? And then they're going to look at that like that's not good behavior for a Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I think like you said, it comes down to how you conduct.
If I was a lawyer for Patrick Moore, regardless of the circumstances, this is what I'd say. The owner of the gym threw the first punch. He was defending himself. Mm-hmm. And all the other stuff I would say is bullshit, even though we know that it's not. The owner's story makes sense, but I would say he was defending himself.
He said, she said, yeah, kind of thing.
And in a court of law, like, what are they going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think
nothing justifies the first punch if it's not self-defense in the court of law, I would say. So he's going to be right.
Yep.
True. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You can't just be like, oh, you're in debt, so now I can hit you.
Yeah.
And the judge would be like, sure, bro, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely on video, he went out there, they're squaring off against each other. I would say it's just mutual contact, but definitely the gym owner threw the first punch. So, but
that would be the argument. Even though I believe that the story makes sense, mm-hmm. It would still, if I was a lawyer arguing the case, for Patrick Moore, I would say he threw the first punch. My client was defending himself. You kicking him out of the show or whatever you're penalizing for, you're in the wrong, and I'd sue them.
Mm-hmm.
And
you'd win.
Yep.
And then you just say $25,000. Pay me $25,000, Pat. So,
what do you guys think about the? I've been. You know how you click on YouTube and you see the thumbnails about this Wes Watson and the fight at Elevation Gym in Miami.
Okay, I'm gonna just tell you right now that was a fake fight.
Was it?
100%, and I'll tell you why I know this. Okay, I've hit somebody once and drew blood. If I hit somebody 53 times, there's going to be a lot of blood all over the freaking place. There's no way I'm ground and pounding somebody and hitting him 53 times in the face, and there's not a drop of blood coming out anywhere. There was not a drop of blood anywhere.
I hadn't seen this one, but Wes is kind of notorious for being a phony.
Supposedly, Wes put it out there. Anybody who wants to fight him, come meet me at this gym, and I will fight you. And this big black guy shows up, and he's standing there talking, and then Wes Watson gets up and hits him in the face with a weight belt, which I don't know what that's about. And then the guy goes down, and then Wes Watson presumes to ground and pound him and threw 53 punches on video in his face. Now tell me, I don't know, maybe he has really soft hands and he can't hit hard, but I know, like, if I hit somebody 53 times in the face, they're going to have, well, actually, this happened when I was a bouncer at the whiskey long time ago. A guy started an altercation, and I got into it with him, and they turned the lights off in the whole club, and I couldn't see, it was dark. But all I know is his face was in front of me. And I just kept hitting him in the face like this in the dark. And when they finally lights came on, they pulled me off. That guy, his face was just a bloody mess. And he had to have surgery. What is it? Plastic surgery and whatever. They had to reconstruct his whole face. There's no way that was a real fight. No way, no how.
They're trying to act like he's E Honda. Remember from Street Fighter, the guy that does the hand?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, that thing was staged. First of all, and they filmed it. The whole thing was set up to be filmed to make Wes Watson look like Wes Watson's like, I handled that guy, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I definitely think he's not he's not
okay,
above.
First of all, if I'm Wes Watson, I'm an ex-convict, and I'm going to fight somebody. I'm not going to do it on film in the middle of the freaking gym. I'm going to say, let's go in the back parking lot with no cameras rolling, because I know there's going to be charges filed.
Somebody vacuuming?
What's that?
We're getting some like.
Oh, let me shut the door. It's the landscapers.
We're getting some weird audio.
Yeah, Wes Watson is like such a tool.
That whole
This
thing.
guy
The whole thing
doesn't
was
deserve
staged,
any-
and the whole thing
any-
was fake.
Yeah.
You've been noticing though, this guy Johnny Bravo and all these other Wes Mack Truck, they're all talking about Wes Watson. It's like
It's
never
just
ending.
it's just
Wes
it's
Watson.
just
He
con-
doesn't deserve any mention actually.
First
No,
of all,
the guy should-
his whole story from the get-go was fake. The guy never went to a real prison. He was in a level 2 camp. And his story about how he, with a shot caller, and that he shanked people. There's no shot caller in a level 2 shanking people. You shank somebody.
You go to-
and you do it. First of all, you just have a fist fight in level 2. They're going to roll you up and they're going to send you to a level 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not staying there. And if you stab somebody,
You're going to level 4.
you're going to like a level 4, and you're going to have charges pending against you. So that whole story is just fake. His whole thing is fake. Everything he does is fake.
His name's probably not Wes Watson.
I think he lied about his height too. He's not 6 foot.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Somebody called him out in a
He just has like lifts in
supermarket
his shoes.
recently. But
It's
I knew from the first time I heard about him that he was fake, because his whole story just didn't make sense. I've been in level 3s, and if you're in a level 3 and you get into an altercation,
Lockdown.
you're locked down. But if there's a weapon involved, you're going to back to a level 4. Mm-hmm. Right away. You're going to be locked down permanently for a while.
All right. Anyone else's thoughts on Pat before we wrap?
I think he's an idiot, but I don't see the IFBB doing anything about it. I think that what this shows, like, why he hasn't succeeded as a pro bodybuilder. I mean, when he turned pro, everybody had high expectations of him because he has a great structure and all of this genetically. But his life is obviously, he can't get his life together because he's dealing with all this nonsense. He can't even pay his trainer fee.
Yeah,
I mean, think about this. Him and Derek Lunsford both turned pro at the USA's at the same time. Where is Derek Lunsford today, and where is he?
Yeah. I heard from, I did a little bit of research calling people that know him, and I guess this has happened at multiple gyms, same kind of MO, not paying his dues, just having altercations. I don't know about altercations, but just not paying his gym dues. So I tend to believe the gym owner's story on that one.
I think the biggest thing that I can't stand about Patrick Moore was he kept saying the future. He called himself the future.
He's like 40.
I'm like, bro, you've been the future for like 5 years. When is this going to happen? It's not. You're not the future. You're the past.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Patrick Moore's the climate change of bodybuilding.
Yeah,
I think he has a great physique, but he's just it's.
I think Martin Fitzwater's the future.
Yeah. I mean, he's still a good bodybuilder. I'm not going to take that away, but
He he's had some injuries too. I mean, he ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah.
I want to say like in 2022. I want to say came back from that. I think he
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's had some definite, just definite hangups in trying to get on the stage.
He worked with Dom Cardone last year. He did the that show in Romania, was it? Or was it it was a European show.
Yeah, I don't think he had a very good showing.
He dropped him right after the show and then went into the Legion Sports Fest and did his own prep. And I think he got 7th, 8th. I mean, and now he's back with Chris Aceto. So it sounds like this guy is all over the place.
Look, I've seen over the years so many bodybuilders that came out and that everybody said, they're going to be the next great thing. And they never,
just their lifestyle.
They never materialized to anything because they just can't get their shit together. Their life is a train wreck.
I feel like that's me. I can't get my shit together to get back on stage.
Well,
you remember Phil Hernan, Larry? Remember Phil Hernan?
Yep.
That guy was amazing. He could have been a Mr. Olympia, but he never got it. He got arrested. He never did shit.
There was lots of them. There was what was that kid's name? They called him Quadzilla. Paul DeMeo.
Paul DeMeo.
Yeah, he ended up being a full-blown drug addict, so he could have been Mr. Olympia. He never went anywhere.
Mike Quinn, he was good.
Yeah, but I think genetically he did pretty well for what he had, but I don't see him as a total failure. He did place high in the Olympia for the genetics he had, so I don't see that as a total failure. But there's been so many people that just like they could have been everything, but they, like I said, they can't get their life together. Let alone their training, contest prep, whatever. Just dealing with personal shit. I know one kid right now. He's like should have been pro 2 years ago, but he's constantly dealing with baby mama issues.
Yeah, I was really sad when I found out that she got pregnant because he was like training super hard and really growing a lot of muscle, and I just was like, you're gonna have problems with that baby mama.
There's probably a lot of guys out there that are like Keon prodigy, but they're just got so much shit going on. We never heard of these guys.
Yeah.
You know who was just talking recently on a podcast was what's that the guy that won the Cal Pro, little black guy with the dreads.
Tonio Burton.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Didn't he get a motorcycle accident or something like that?
Yeah, but he was. He grew up as a gangbanger, as a Crip or something
in Reno.
Yeah.
Yeah, his whole life he was a gangbanger.
Are there gangs in Reno? It's like 800 people. I'm exaggerating, but like it's like 10,000 people or something. It's a very small town.
I think his brother just got killed like recently or something like that in a gang. Something.
Oh shit.
You could tell when he talks on his Instagram, he's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Like his posts. So, but good for him for getting out of that lifestyle, committing to bodybuilding.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've said it a few times. I think that he turned pro in 2020. I was at the USA's and I was sitting front row, and it was the year that Merkel won the overall, and Tonio was in the light heavies, won the light heavy, and I looked at him and I said, "Oh, that kid's gonna win." And they ended up picking Merkel, but I think that he just looked too hood, like he was just too I hate to say it, too black to be Mr. USA, but he definitely deserved it. His structure was, I mean, and look at it, like Merkel hasn't really done anything with his pro card, and Tonio has won multiple shows, placing in the Olympia. So, I mean, I think he had deserved it on that day, but yeah, that was I think that was 2020. Nick Walker got second right behind Merkel, didn't get his card, and then Merkel won the overall.
Wow.
I mean, Merkel looked great. I don't want to take nothing too bad away from him, but I just think Tonio was a better bodybuilder, just all around.
I could just go ahead.
That guy never competed since Chicago Pro. Remember
Merkel?
He did in Chicago Pro.
I think he had some sort of heart issue or something, and I think maybe he backed off a little bit. I can't remember. This is maybe 2-3 years ago.
He has a good physique, though. He could do good.
He's got like a pleasing physique, but Tonio just is like a bubble. He's like a he's like a Nathan Diasha or like a, you know, one of those bubble physiques.
Yeah.
I could just say this. Going to prison when I was young, in hindsight, was the worst thing that happened to me ever in my life, and probably the best thing for me. Because prior to that, I just thought like I was the shit and I could just do anything. And I was like running around out of control, this like 20-year-old kid all jacked up on steroids, doing crazy shit, you know, that would have ended up me. My father told me you're going to end up either in prison or dead. And he was right. And probably just a short prison sentence, like if I just got a few months, that wouldn't have fixed me. Mm-hmm. But when they hit me with those big charges and I was stuck in there,
like, I better chill.
I was just like, man, what the hell am I doing with my life is fucked. Mm-hmm. And that kind of like just changed. I needed that to like put me in check.
Realign your direction.
Realize that, like, you know, you can't just do whatever you want. Actually,
probably something else would have happened if you wouldn't have gone to jail.
Yeah, like I said, I would have been probably killed or fucking something. Mm-hmm. Or killed myself with gear or who knows what. Because I was like Boston Lloyd reckless. At that time. Just running around being crazy and, you know, I didn't take as much gear as he did because I didn't know about it, but I would have if I thought it would have done anything. Yeah. I was like that kind of crazy.
Larry is carrying a Mac 10 to drug deals and stuff in those days.
Crazy shit. Like looking back on it, I'm like, what the hell was I even thinking about?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say Patrick Moore is like 40, so that excuse doesn't work for him.
No, at some point in life you got to learn. I was 20, and that like put a slap on my face.
Smacked you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was our Olympia prediction for Pat? Like 9th place, 8th place,
something like that. Yeah. I didn't have him doing well just because.
Arnold prediction, sorry.
Arnold,
yeah. I didn't have him doing well just because he just never can seem to get his shit together.
Yeah.
You know, he just.
I mean, he's got a beautiful structure. He's a little bit long legs, a short torso, but I mean, it's just like he looks like a wasp. He like just itty bitty waist, big round muscle bellies. So I mean, he's got the goods if he really comes in big, but I think he's a little bit undersized for the guys he's going up against. He'd have a hard time breaking into that top 6 because it's just going to be Samson, Derek, Andrew, you know, Brandon. Those are all big guys. 270, 260 on stage.
There's a lot of people that have the structural nice shape, but then they have some muscles that those muscles in itself don't have a nice shape. Like his biceps are very long, and his outer sweep is not like roundish, very like.
It's because his legs are kind of femurs are long, so his sweep kind of looks like it's not like as bubbly as like a shorter guy. Like a Lunsford's got a short femur, so his sweep has to like push out because it's so short. But a lot of times, his front double is really really pleasing on Patrick because he's got the long arms. I mean, it's kind of like the Chris Bumstead. He's got long arms. His arms suck, but like when he flexes, it just looks good. Like shorter arms kind of like don't look as good in a front double.
One thing I noticed when I saw him turn pro,
Pat.
Yeah, he's a big guy, like tall, wide, big. But his arms, they're huge, but they're really wide from the side. But there's no thickness.
Mm-hmm. Like a brachialis, isn't there?
No, it's like it's just the way it's developed. Like
it's like tall but not thick.
It's wall, but there's no thickness. They're real narrow. So he just doesn't have thickness to his body. He just doesn't have that.
Yeah, well, he's a taller guy. I think he's like close to 6 foot, and I think he's like 230 on stage. So he's not a very like heavy guy.
Yeah, he does not have enough muscle for his frame.
I mean, a lot of people thought he could almost jump down to the classic ranks because he's like a little lighter. He's got those bird bones.
Very skinny calves too. Kind of throws it off. It throws off your leg development sometimes with those little little joints and then the small calves, and then he doesn't have a big sweep. It's not that like
he's got a classic look to me for sure. Like he has a very pleasing look. He does good, like with his look, but he's just not a heavy open super mass monster kind of guy.
All right.
Especially, I don't think he's going to be top 5 in that show anyway. So
no, we had him down in our predictions like.
Yeah, I think he could definitely win some other shows if he comes in real peeled. He could do like a New York Pro, or he could do a Cali Pro, and he could win those. But I think at the Arnold, I mean, especially this one, we got like the top 3 are all top 4 out of the Olympia. So
he won the New York Pro 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2018. He won the New York Pro, and then
I don't see it.
And then he got his Olympia qualification. I think he got 8th.
He won the Cali Pro.
He got 8th or 9th in the Olympia that same year, and then he got an Arnold invitation, and then he kind of like started going off the wheels after that.
He has 2 pro wins, right?
I think he's got
3.
I think he's got at least 2. I think he won New York one year, or maybe he was second, and then he got Cali Pro. I think New York and Cali, he won both of those once, and then I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what else he won. That's it. Maybe just 2.
I'd say he's a top tier 2 guy, like towards the bottom of a top tier 2 guy.
Yeah. He's like the top of the second call out, or the bottom of the first call out kind of guy. Yeah. I mean, and with those kind of guys, you know, they're the kind that we always are like the underdog. We're like, get it together, come in bigger, come in more shredded than ever, show up. And I think that was why he did so well that one year, because like he came in he was against the big guys, the Olympia, and he was a small guy, but he was able to hold his own because he was just shredded. He looked, I think he was with Aceto at the time. This was, I want to say 2018 or something like that.
19.
So 19.
Oh.
So, all right. Wrap it, Larry.
So this is Larry Pollock, Luke Carroll, coming to you from the Underground Forum Gym podcast. And guys, go ahead and give your contact information and whatever you want to promote. Leo.
All right, I go first. It's Austrian Powers on Instagram, and Overcome Podcast also on Instagram and YouTube.
And Austin?
You can contact me direct, IFBB Pro Autin Karr. On there, I'll have the links to a natural show in Las Vegas, another open Steve Carr show, and then we have a show on May 10th. It's a Las Vegas Pro. It's for the natural pros and natural NPC. All those are on my Instagram and the website. So if you're interested in competing in Las Vegas, come out, check it out, and ask any questions. I'll answer you right away.
Right on. Thanks a lot, guys.
So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments and questions, and we'll be sure to try to answer those and follow up.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one.